dougiamas is the founder of the CEO of the open source Moodle software project that he started in 1999. The Moodle platform consists of a number of the products, but the best known is the Moodle LMS, which all open university in Indonesia may use and familiar with this LMS. Martin has mixed academic background with the multiple postgraduate degrees in computer science and education. And also he received 2 honorary doctorates and is a member of the multiple boards around the world. He continued to focus on researching on how open education technology can best support teaching and learning in open and human ways, with a keen interest in helping to produce a generation that can meet the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Martin dougiamas.
Selamat pagi. Hello.
Hello, pagi, Martin.
Pleasure to see you all here. I'll get on to my presentation, but I think we have some time for questions afterwards. I'm looking forward to that. Let's go here. So yes, thank you for the introduction, and I'm the founder of Moodle, obviously, and the current CEO. So I've been working on Moodle for over 20 years. And I'll talk a bit about the project that it is. Through this whole time, it's very much a value-based project. This is not a big Silicon Valley company. We have a very strong purpose, and it's a project. It's more of an open source project than anything else. So we have very strong values of education. Of course, so we value education. We're open source, but we have a very open process. We believe in respect. It's a very global project with many different types of people, and it's important to include everybody, be inclusive and equitable. We believe in integrity and in being very honest, and that's very easy when you're open. And then, of course, there's innovation. The design of Moodle allows a lot of people to build Moodle. We're also a certified B Corporation. So the only reason for that is that we're not a non-profit. In the middle of Moodle, there is a sustainable business that keeps it going. But that business is purpose first. It's not about creating profits. So the Moodle project in the last 20 years has grown a lot. And here are some statistics. We're currently around 182,000 sites, and that's universities and schools and corporations that use Moodle. And those are just the registered ones where people are registered. And that adds up to millions of people around the world who are using Moodle. An interesting fact is that Indonesia is the 7th largest Moodle country in the world by numbers. That's over 6,600 registered installations. So many of you may be using Moodle, and I hope it's helping. But we're very close. I'm very close to you. I'm in Perth, Australia, which is just south. We're in the same part of the world here, so we should be visiting each other more. But globally, Moodle is quite well used and here are the different continents. And you can see that in some of the continents, Africa and South America and around Asia, it's very high. Overall, it's around 2/3 of higher education uses Moodle in some way. The area where it's least is in the US because there are a lot of commercial competitors there. So Moodle is a learning management system, but there are also these other parts to it. It's a whole platform, and we have a number of products. There's the Moodle learning management system. There's a Moodle workplace, which is a special version of Moodle for using in the workplace. We have apps. We have a Moodle Net, which is a new thing. I'll talk a bit about that later. And we also have services. So we have companies that help with people with Moodle in various ways. We have hosting, and we also have a Moodle Academy, a new thing, which is about training and teaching you how to use Moodle as well. So I'm going to focus mostly, I haven't got a lot of time, so I'm just going to focus on probably what you want to hear about, which is what's happening with the learning management system these days. I wanted to point out, though, before we get into it, that the purpose of Moodle is not simply to give people handouts of PDFs and distribute resources and then maybe have a quiz at the end. It is designed as a full platform on which you can do all kinds of pedagogies and all kinds of learning. And I like to see a lot of collaborative learning, and I like to see a lot of interactivity in classes. You don't have to do that, but Moodle is a toolbox, and you build your own platform with it. And the number of tools and the breadth of the flexibility means you can build pretty much anything. So with this platform, probably over the past few years, the biggest feedback we get from the community is that the user experience is not what we're used to. And we're all using smartphones, and we're all using new software in the past few years. And Moodle is being 20 years old, still feels a bit like some software that was 10 to 20 years old, some of the interface. So the user experience is something we've been focusing a lot on in the last 2 years. So I'm going to talk about what we're doing here with our new approach to make Moodle have a better experience, to work more simply and to be easier. So these are the areas we've been focusing on. And so Moodle 4.0 is the next release, and it's has been a lot of work in the last 18 months on the navigation, on how you get around the platform, how you create courses, for the students, how they do the course, so how they can see what they've done and what they have to do, and the dashboard, which affects everybody. And Moodle 4.1, which is the next version, we're focusing on all of the activities, particularly assignments, forum, quiz, and the gradebook. So getting into some of these activities. 4.0 will be released in January, so a couple of months away, and 4.1 will be about 6 months after that, in the beginning of the first half of next year, say May or June. So here's a little bit of a preview of what the interfaces are looking like. So it's a lot of the experience coming right in from the beginning. So it's much easier now to customize the look and feel of Moodle with backgrounds. And so this is a sample school from the login page. And then when you get to your dashboard, there is assistance to show you how to, use the interface. So there are these nice new user tours that show you the different parts of the interface. And you only need to look at them once, and then they go away. And on the interface, on the dashboard, there's a vastly improved timeline, and the timeline shows you, here are all the things coming up for you. Here are the assignments coming up. Here are the events and the quizzes. And it's in this sort of way here where you can see coming up in the days, and then for each of them, you can go and do those things really quickly. So that makes it a lot easier for students, not having to go in and out of courses. They can start from their dashboard. We've moved the My Courses page to its own page, and that was from a lot of user testing, that was a much easier way to get around a lot of courses for students and teachers. So that has its own place now. And when you're inside a course now, you'll see there is a much bigger icons for the different types of activities to really highlight what they are and bring that out of the content. The done buttons here show much more clearly what you've done or haven't done and how your results are going. And over on the left here, you'll see this new thing, which we call a course index. And it's just an outline of the course. It's very similar to an outline in a Word document or on a document. It shows you very quickly to navigate the course, up and down the course, to get between the sections. And the teacher can even use this for some editing of the course too. You can drag things backwards and forwards between this and the main course to move things around. You can change settings and so on. And so that hides away here under this little tab here. And then on this side, you can see this is the blocks area. So we're still supporting blocks. A lot of people still want to make their own blocks in Moodle and have information and things here. So we still have that there if you want it. And of course, all of this comes through to a whole new mobile interface. So it works very well on phones, much better than it did before. And we're really hoping the new interface will work very well for phones for everybody. There's other new features as well. We've now integrated Big Blue Button as a permanent plugin. So if you're using Big Blue Button for video conferencing, which works really great for large numbers of students, and it's open source as well, that is now built into Moodle. We have a new report builder. This is more for people who want to get reports on what's happening in Moodle. And the report builder lets you choose data sources and combine them in the interface. So no programming necessary. You can just create reports, bring data together, find out what students are missing or in trouble that you need to talk to, or whatever questions you may have. You can now access more of the data in Moodle and get that done. And you produce these reports and you can really see what's happening. With our apps, we have some changes. We have our free app continues on the app stores, of course, and it's the same. But for a very small fee, we have these additional level apps. These are more premium apps, and they have more customizability, branding that you can do. They support much larger installations. And we also have a branded app, which is a completely custom app we can make for people as well. And these are the prices for obviously institutions, not for students. But it may be a case where you want to have your own app in the App Store with your own institution name and your own colors and everything. And we can do that for you. And that's part of the business side I was saying, to keep Moodle running as a free software organization that we support. So I want to quickly talk about the Academy, a new Moodle Academy. It's based on a certification that we've created, which is the Moodle Educator certification. And this in turn is based on a European standard called the DigComp Edu. And there are 22 competencies on how to be a really great online teacher. So that's not just about using Moodle. Some of it is, but it's also about how you do organizational communication, conduct reflective practice, how you find digital resources and how you use digital resources, how you help your learners become empowered, how you help them be good at digital technologies, and all of these things. And that's a very comprehensive certification. So we've had this running for a couple of years, and a lot of people are becoming certified as a Moodle educator through our program. And now we're building an academy around it. Oh, here's the certificate, by the way. And it's in lots of languages. We're translating it to every language we possibly can. But the new Moodle Academy, which you can go and have a look at moodle.academy, is a Moodle site, of course, and it's like our little online institution where you can learn about using Moodle. And these are all free courses. We have 3 tracks, 3 programs that we're working on. The first one is for educators. And starting from the beginning, you can learn a lot of things about the basics of Moodle, sort of intermediate things, and then advanced steps about Moodle, and you can lead up to getting a Moodle educator certificate. We're also creating programs for Moodle administrators and how to look after a Moodle site and all the things you need to learn, and also for Moodle developers. And that's for we have over 1,000 developers who contribute to Moodle all the time, who are creating new features and working with Moodle. So that's one part of Moodle. I didn't really talk about MoodleNet, but here on the slide, but Moodle.net is, I have a look at that as well. It's now just about to launch. MoodleNet is a place for content, and we've made a new open source software that enables people to collect and curate content from around the web so that other teachers can find it quickly. And if I tell you quickly how that might work, if you're a teacher looking at an empty screen, you have to make a new online course, you'll be able to go from Moodle straight to MoodleNet, do a search, and find lots of great content for your particular course in your level, in your language, and bring that into Moodle very quickly. And that comes from MoodleNet, which is a little bit like Pinterest or any other system like that, where you're used to social bookmarking. So this is all open education content that other teachers have collected together, and it's a place for doing that. So yeah, a lot of interesting things happening in Moodle. I would prefer, though, that we have a question-driven session here with a lot of questions from you, so I can answer whatever you need to know. And I'll stop now, and thank you for listening.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Martin dougiamas, for very interesting update related to your current features of the Moodle. Yes, definitely a lot of the new comings hopefully will be beneficial for all of the Moodle users. And I think Indonesia is probably Indonesia is one of the countries that use most of the Moodle for learning management system, Martin. And our office, our university, Universitas Buka, use Moodle since in the beginning, the first version of the Moodle.
That's really cool.
Okay, thank you so much.
It's like we've been connected all these years
yes,
through
exactly.
the software.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that you may visit us sometimes, and then we could have talk, and also collecting all of the Moodle users in Indonesia and having a symposium one day.
I would love that. I would love to have a Moodle moot even in there. We're so close. I'm not allowed to leave the country right now. We're in Australia, where still borders are shut. But when I can fly, I would love to come.
Okay, sure. Thank you so much. Okay. The third speaker, ladies and gentlemen, I think